So by now you've heard about Minnesota's Somali theft rings. Somehow a third world country hijacked the state without having to kidnap Tom Hanks. And these Somali pirates claim more booty than a meeting of the J-Lo fan club. Millions of taxpayer dollars meant for meal plans were stolen, some of which were funneled to the terror group Al-Shabaab. Although having seen Somali cuisine, maybe it's better they didn't spend it on food. It's one of the largest scams in U.S. history. But for years, Tim Walz ignored it in favor of supplying feminine hygiene products to students named Steve. Now he's issuing blame, but not to the fraudsters. It's Whitey's fault.
Do you want to hear more from members of leaders from the Somali community to say, we need to look at ourselves, we need to hold our own neighbors accountable?
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. For every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general.
No wonder that Minnesota State Burn is the loon. He suggests that white men don't hold other white men accountable. Well, he's right about one white guy, him. Under this fool, the whole state's become messier than a pair of Joe Biden's tidy whities after eating bad sushi. What a tool bag. Turns out Minnesota's AG, Keith Ellison, took donations from people later convicted in this fraud scheme. His son, a Minneapolis city councilman, got paid to do Harvard on a fellowship while pulling a six-figure paycheck from the city, and even asked taxpayers to cover his flights while missing half the city council meetings. Then, of course, there's Ilhan Omar, whose district was the epicenter of Somali fraud. Gee, I wonder if there's any connection between the first Somali in U.S. history to serve in Congress and the billions in fraud in her district, which is mainly made up of Somalis. So what's her story? She landed in the U.S. after fleeing civil war in Somalia. She says her dad was an educator, but he was also a colonel in the Somalian army under a dictator who committed war crimes. So yeah, she escaped the problem that her family helped create. That's like a flasher who comes here to escape frostbite. And the Washington Beacon, Free Beacon, reports that, yeah, she really did marry her brother. Possibly to skirt immigration laws and get her brother into the U.S. No wonder they served the wedding food family style. They tracked online marriage info to prove it, but when the Beacon reached out to her team, they were called bigots for even asking. Because for Dems like her, they rely on the ruse that accountability is racist. Every audit is a human rights violation, and every Wednesday is ladies' night. But you got to ask, how come no Democrats are defending her? That's the dog not barking. No one's saying, hey, Ilhan Omar didn't marry her brother. I mean, if someone had said that about me, I'm pretty sure people would speak out on my behalf. At the very least, my brother. But you don't hear anything from the Dems about her, not even a request for proof of bunk beds. No. And they'll defend anything, including Sergeant a lot. So the question is why? What happened to Minnesota? It's a modest state full of hardworking people who love casseroles, Land O'Lakes butter, and women who throw their hat in the air. Oh, Mary. They didn't ask for a government that treats their tax money like baby oil at a Diddy party. So how did Minnesota become so corrupt? Well, here's the blueprint. They insulated protected communities that vote overwhelmingly Democrat, like the Somalis. And without oversight, the buffer enables all this corruption. Minnesota wasn't some tragic accident. It's a scandal unfolding in plain sight. And until the state holds everyone accountable, including their leaders, Minnesotans will still be the land of 10,000 lakes, but the taxpayers will be the ones getting soaked. Period.